Everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. I'm here after seeing A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. This film is directed by Kogonada, who you can tell is a student of the genre, of course. Obviously he's a director. Colin Farrell is in this, and Margot Robbie, and they are two adults that are adrift in sort of a meaningless life where neither of them have a relationship that they care about. Their life is kind of falling apart. They meet through this sort of TVA inspired agency that rents them a car. Then they meet at a wedding, and on the way back, they go into their journey as their GPS sort of sends them through these various doors. They're traveling together, even though they want to be separate. And it's kind of a cliche, these people who feel like they can't ever be loved or want to be loved or whatever it is, that discover through each other that they can. And this movie is sort of proof that I can enjoy a romantic film if it's done creatively, if it's done intelligently, if there's something new and original in it. I think that this is a better version of The Materialist, and even with the fantastic aspects of it, I think it's more realistic. Now, there are a few issues that I have with it. I think, it is beautifully filmed. I think that it is artistic. I just recently watched a video with Rob Reiner, an interview where he talks about this scene in The Princess Bride where Buttercup is going across, riding a horse across a meadow, and he hates it because there's a lens flare and it takes you out of the film. This film, though, does use lens flares at certain points with intentionality. And there are little things like the way the moon is, right? Specific places of the moon when you see it. I think pay very, very close attention to the wardrobes that people wear. There are some times in this film when I'm thinking, you know what, there's a continuity error because he got in this car and he had a little duffel bag and now he has a full blue, three-piece suit. And he also now he has a cardigan and all this other thing. And where is she getting all these clothes from? She doesn't have any bag, but there's a very specific reason for that. And if you pay attention, you're going to see it. It's not, so subtle that you're going to miss it. Um, where I was going is where I think this film starts to fall apart is I think it starts to believe its own hype a little bit too much. I think it's a little too melodramatic and too serious to where I didn't necessarily feel a lot of emotion for these characters. I didn't really care if they ended up together or not. I was very interested in the journey. I was very interested in seeing what happens behind each of these doors that they go through and what they're going to figure out. But I didn't really care if they ended up together because I figured they probably were. I don't know that they had the balls to, at the end, keep these two apart, which, sorry, spoiler alert. I think also it's sort of just a mishmash of this sophomoric philosophy, right? Like if you go to and Google motivational quotes, right? The first couple you read might be like, yeah, that's great. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. And you keep going with that. And that's what this film is it's just like motivational quote after motivational quote. And by that point, I just started getting a little bit bored and a little bit tired of it. I love the artistry of the film. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's filmed. I like that it's sort of this classic look. Sometimes almost like if you've seen on Apple TV, there's a show called Schmigadoon. It's almost like that. And I like bringing back sort of the classic, 50s and 60s jazz and the music. And there's some Ella Fitzgerald in this with some modern music. I love the way that that is all brought together. It kind of pulls from a lot of different romantic genres. I don't know that it's all 100% successful, but I think overall it's a very enjoyable film. It's just, man, it's slow and it is dramatic, and maybe it doesn't really matter at all in the end because I don't know that they really figure anything out. And I really do think if you've seen The Materialist, it's almost the same exact ending. But with these guys, I did find it to be a little more believable. So anyway, where am I going to put this film? Boy, I want to put it higher. But I think realistically, I think this movie is about a 7. I don't know if it's quite as good as it thinks it is. It's not a big fish, right? Where you have this journey of discovery with all these creative elements. I thought that they could have done so much more. I hate to compare it to Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's all these different vignettes of different lives that they could have lived. But it's almost there. It's almost there. It's good enough to watch. I think it's definitely good enough to watch. Margot Robbie, oh, I will say this also. The sound is so weird. The ADR in this was incredibly jarring. Especially Margot Robbie. I don't know why Colin Farrell is able to keep his accent, maybe because he can't do any other accent, but Margot Robbie has an American accent. But the ADR, the voiceover work that is in this is just, it's incredibly jarring. And I did not enjoy that at all. It feels like that's something that they could have looked at a little bit more intentionally, right? So there we are. I'm going to give this movie a 7. And if you have seen it, please let me know what you think and like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you all. See you after the next movie.